Welcome back to 026 Motoring once again. My name is Bill Sioture and today I'm going to give you a detailed and in-depth review of this 2017 Mazda Demio 1.5 liter turbo diesel. Zero-to-60 Motoring makes your car ownership journey easy. If you want to purchase a car, you can actually check 0to60motoring.com for car reviews. You can also check our social media platform, that is a Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. You're going to find our car articles and comparisons. Should you also want to purchase a car, you can always ring us or shoot us a message on the number below. We are going to scout a clean car for you, subjected to all the checks are necessary to ensure that your car ownership journey becomes easy. Alright, here we go. 2017 Mazda Demio 1.5 liter turbo diesel review. So in this class, you could be looking at cars like the Peugeot 208, which is my favorite. You could be looking at cars like the Toyota Vitz, Honda Fit, Nissan Note and the Suzuki Swift. So let's talk something about the aesthetics of this 2017 Mazda Demio. Now when you're looking at this Mazda Demio, it's something that is actually appealing to the eye because it employs Mazda's Kodo design of language. Up front here, the faces are very similar to what you'll be finding in other Mazda cars, and then you have these daytime running lights, fog lights down here, and then because these are top version, it comes with these 16-inch alloy rims, which actually look pretty good to me. For coming to the rear side, there is not much you can talk about this car. It is curvaceous, let me use that term. You have these Demio badge here, AWD, of course, to tell you that in this car, power is sent to all the four wheels. You have these tail lights here, which have some C-shaped lighting pattern, which actually looks pretty good. In some versions, you can actually have them with a bigger spoiler, which should give this car a better look. That is what you can see. You have this Sky Active D. Of course, the D tells you that this is a diesel variation. The petrol ones come with a Sky Active without this D. So when I'm looking at the aesthetics of this 2017 Mazda Demio, it's a compact hatchback that actually will be appealing to very many people. Not many cars in this segment will actually be having the aesthetics of these 2017 Mazda Demio or Mazda 2 if you like. If you want to purchase a Mazda Demio in the Kenyan market, most probably you're going to find two engine variations. Those are the most common engine choices. The first one is a 1.3 liter petrol, which is naturally aspirated, and then the second one is what I'm driving here today, which is a 1.5 liter turbo diesel. For those two engine options, you can find them with either a 6-speed automatic gearbox or a 6-speed manual gearbox. Now, because I'm reviewing the diesel version, you can actually check the petrol review on the channel. These are diesel, a 1.5 liter turbo diesel should be climaxing at around 105 brake horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque. Those are the power ratings of these 1.5 liter turbo diesel. And then these are 1.5 turbo diesel. It's the exact engine you're going to find in cars like the Mazda CX-3 and some variations of the Mazda Axel or Mazda 3 if you like. Now, the 6-speed automatic gearbox here or a 6-speed manual gearbox normally can, in most applications, sends power to the front wheels. But in rare cases, for instance, in the car I'm driving today, power goes to all the four wheels. So that's why most probably you're seeing that all-wheel drive badge on the trunk of this Mazda Demio or Mazda 2 if you like. There is a third engine option, which is a 1.5 liter petrol, but it's not common in our market, so most probably you're gonna find that one if you source your car from Australia. or the likes of UK. But for our market, you either get into that 1.3 liter petrol or this 1.5 liter turbo diesel. How does the 2017 Mazda Demio drive? When I'm looking at this car, because of its size, it should obviously be simple to drive. You don't have a problem placing this car within its lanes. And when I'm looking at visibility, once you adjust the seat to your driving position, you should not have a problem actually seeing the road ahead of you. Now, in terms of power delivery, this car actually weighs around 1,000 kilograms. That is, should be close to 1 ton. And now, when you're looking at the power ratings of this car, you're looking at 105 HP and 270 Newton meters of torque. Now, in this case, the horsepower numbers may not be that big, but the real talking point is the torque numbers, because 250 Newton meters of torque, that is more torque than what a 2-liter Nissan X-Trail can do, a 2-liter Toyota Harrier using the 3ZR can do, more torque than what a Subaru Forester SJ5 can do, and more torque than a Mitsubishi Outlander 2000cc. So basically, when you're looking at the weight of this car versus a 250 Newton meter of torque, something that actually comes out clear is that in this car you're going to have a decent power to weight ratio. So in this case, you're not going to struggle, or you're not going to strain the car that much for it to move. That's why most probably, if you're running a mid-size crossover that has a natural aspirated petrol, a 1.5 liter turbocharged Mazda Demio is going to give you a massive run for your money, especially on the highway driving. That is because with a 250 Newton meters of torque, this car can easily maintain a decent speeds without struggling. So this car is relatively fast for its size because of those impressive power to weight ratios. Now, one thing you should learn about Mazda diesel engines is that the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour may not be that decent, because even for the CX-5, the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is around 9.5 seconds. For this car, it should be in the region of 9 point something seconds. Of course, if you look at the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time of something like a Nissan Note e-Power, it may be better than this car. This is not a car that is meant for extreme performance. It's not a car that should be keeping up with something like the Golf GTIs. Basically, this car is a daily driver, and a daily driver, when I'm looking at it, the acceleration and the ability to maintain decent speeds is what matters for a day-to-day user. Now, the handling of this car is pretty decent. It's agile and nimble around corners because of its low aerodynamics, and Mazda have really mastered the art of making their cars to be livelier to drive. Now, one thing I like about this car is that the torque is actually available from very low RPMs, because that 250 Newton meters of torque is available from around 1500 RPMs, which means you may not need to press this car a little bit hard for it to move. You just need to place your leg on the accelerator, and it's going actually to pick up decent speeds. Now, when I'm looking at the 6-speed automatic gearbox, of course it does its job pretty well. On the highway, the Mazda Demio will actually put a smile on your face, especially because it actually picks up a speed very fast. You don't need to strain it that much for it to move. And then with features like lane assist, it can actually warn you when you are veering off from your lane. And with this heads-up display function here, you don't need to always monitor the cluster reading here, because you can always focus on the road ahead, and you go about your business without any problem. I'm now doing this is 100 kilometers per hour, and the car is really settled, and the RPMs are actually below 1800 RPMs. That should tell you how powerful a 1.5 liter turbo diesel is, especially in a car that weighs around 1 ton. Now, when you're looking at something like overtaking, it's actually a breeze in this car, because you just need to put your leg a little bit on the accelerator pedal, and then the car is going to go about its duties without a problem. I'm not doing this is 130 kilometers per hour, and I don't actually have any problem. What actually is encroaching this cabin is that sometimes you can actually have that diesel clattering coming from the bonnet, but it's something that you get used to, especially when you are driving a diesel engine. So when I'm looking at the highway performance of this car, it's actually pretty good. Another thing that you should always learn, which is a problem with Mazdas, is that when you're doing those crazy speeds, it's good manners are keeping a safe distance between you and the car ahead of you, because you may have a problem actually killing all that momentum, especially when there is an emergency. So when I'm looking at the highway experience of this car, it's something that is going to put a smile on your face for that person who wants a little bit of driving at a budget, and most importantly at something that is not going to hurt your pockets in terms of fuel consumption. Of course, I'll be telling you more about the fuel numbers in a few moments. So one of the reasons that you'll be purchasing a Mazda Demio is because of fuel consumption. Now, because this is a turbo diesel engine, of course the fuel efficiency is expected to be good. The reason is this car doesn't struggle or strain to make power, so in most cases you'll be keeping the RPMs low, and that one should be translating to around 20 kilometers per liter on the highway or clear highways. But in city start-stop traffic, you are expected to see figures in the region of 17-18 kilometers per liter. Sometimes you may record higher figures than that, 17, 18, 19, 20 kilometers per liter, but that one is dependent on how you drive, the load you have, and the condition of the car. But for me, 20 kilometers per liter is a very impressive fuel figures. So this is a car that you can drive Monday to Fridays to work, and then it won't break the bank if you decide to go on a road trip every weekend, because basically 20 kilometers per liter is a very decent fuel number. So how does the 2017 Mazda Demio look like in terms of reliability? A person who's purchasing a Mazda Demio, they have a reliability at the top of their priority list. Now, this is a 1.5 liter turbocharged diesel engine. Majority of the cars in this segment don't come with diesels. Now, when Mazda diesels rocked the Kenyan market a few years ago with the CX-5 and the Atenza being the most common variations, they gave people proper character development. That is the 2.2 turbo diesel, because of overheating issues, blowing of gaskets, DPF errors, something to do with clogging issues, carbon buildup, and all those sorts. But then, after interacting with this 1.5 liter, because I'm also coming from a CX-5 2.2 all-wheel drive experience, I find this 1.5 liter sturdy and hardier. That is because this car also has a DPF, but I've not seen it clog as quickly or as frequent as the 2.2 turbo diesel. That's why most probably if you go online, you're going to find that this 1.5 liter here is also, nowadays it has started being applied in Axelas, and it's the same engine you're getting in something like the CX-3. So basically this engine doesn't have as many problems as the elder siblings at 2.2 liter. So from my standpoint, it's something that is actually very reliable. And normally what I advise people, when you're purchasing this 1.5 liter, you may not necessarily need to do a DPF delete if you do long distance travels frequently. So the car will do the regeneration on itself. So that is I'll actually rank the reliability of this car. Another thing you may also want to learn, this car has a 6-speed automatic gearbox. Mazda has one of the best transmissions in the segment. So with the gearbox, I don't think that you are going to have any issue with this car here. So from my standpoint, I don't think that this 1.5 diesel is that delicate as very many people will be trying to put it out there. Because I've seen these Mazda diesel engines, this 1.5 liter, go to around 180, 170. Of course, I've not seen anyone above 200,000 kilometers, but I'm pretty sure they are going to get there, because generally they are newer in the Kenyan market. But with good maintenance, they are going to get there. So for the normal servicing, the manufacturer actually recommends a 5W30 oil that should actually give your engine some good lifespan. And always, because this is a diesel car, at the gas station, always remember to remind the fuel pump attendant to fuel for you diesel, or if you like, you can actually place a sticker there. So in terms of reliability and dependability, when I'm looking at this car, it's not that something that is much of a problem. Welcome to the cabin of this 2017 Mazda Demio. The way I can rate this cabin is that it's one of the best cabins in the segment. Basically, it's because Mazda have tried to give you quite a generous list of features. You have these half leather seats which actually are heated. You have a auxiliary port down here, 2 USB ports. You have a cruise control here on the right side of the steering wheel. You have these paddle shifters are behind the steering wheel, and then these infotainment screen. You can actually control it from this rotary knob down here. So other features in this car include parking sensors. You have a lane departure warning system. You have i-stop and traction control. While the Mazda Demio could actually be packing a very many features or having a generous amount of list of features, it may disappoint when it comes to space. For the front occupants, because this is like my driving position, I don't have a problem whatsoever with the knee room. I also don't have a problem whatsoever with the headroom. But for the rear passengers and the boot, they are actually going to have a problem. Let me show you that. So if I'm maintaining my driving position, that means that the person who will be in these rear seats, most probably they are going to be suffocated of space, especially over long distance travels. But for short people, I don't think they're going to have a problem. Now, when you're looking at this car, for long distance travels, it's actually meant for 2 people. Of course, I don't expect someone to expect a S-Class legroom or a space in the 2017 Mazda Demio. Let's see how the boot space looks like. In terms of the boot space, this is what the 2017 Mazda Demio gives you. So this is the amount of room you have, and of course down here, it's not much of a space because this is where you're going to have your tire repair kit equipment. But then when I'm looking at this boot space, it's one of the worst or one of the least in the segment, because the Nissan Note, the Honda Fit are actually going to give you better boot space over this car. So in terms of a spacing element, the Mazda Demio is easily one of the worst cars in this class. So if you're purchasing a Mazda Demio, you better learn that element. It's one of the biggest deal breakers. Every single day someone will be asking whether they should settle for a Demio Diesel or a Demio Petrol. Now that I've reviewed both, you can check the Petrol review on the channel, but let me give you my conclusion. If you are a person who does a long distance travels and you want a little bit of power, you don't want something that is going to maybe dent your pockets in terms of fuel consumption, the diesel variation is the best, because for this one, if you are doing 20 kilometers per liter, it makes more economic sense. And then the diesel version actually comes with more features. For instance, in this car, you are having a heated seats, heads-up display, parking sensors, lane assist, something like half leather seats. Those are features that you are not going to get them in a petrol version. Even something like cruise control, you have to step up to the top trims of the petrol variations to get it. So if I'm asked to choose between a diesel and a petrol Mazda Demio, Monday to Saturday and twice on Sundays, Demio Diesel. But if you want something that you can park for a long duration and you don't normally go for long distances frequently, then there is no harm if you settle for a 1.3 liter petrol. It's actually very simple to maintain, and also the fuel efficiency is also that it's good. It's only that it's not as powerful as these 1.5 turbo diesel. A few years ago, these things were actually pretty affordable, because when the 2014 the new shape Mazda Demio came into the Kenyan market, you could easily get into a diesel variation with around 951 million Kenyan shillings. Nowadays, you need around 1.3 million shillings to get into a decently spec'd or a top grade Mazda Demio, and that is how crazy car prices have become these days. So should you buy this 2017 Mazda Demio? From my standpoint, if you want a car that blends performance, fuel efficiency and style in one package, there is no reason whatsoever why you should not consider this 2017 Mazda Demio. An alternative I'll recommend, if you want something that is a little bit powerful, but you can also get something like a 1.6 liter Suzuki Swift, or something like a Peugeot 208 1.2 liter. Those cars are also pretty good, but not many cars in that class are going to give you the fuel efficiency and the performance of the Mazda Demio in one package. that is enough for today. If you want information about this Mazda Demio Diesel or the Petrol, you can always ring us or shoot us a message on the number below. Literally, if you need information about any other car, you can always reach out to us. If you want to purchase a car, shoot us a message and ask us about that car. You can also task us to get you the right car. We're going to scout a clean car for you, subject it to all the checks, and ensure that you are going home with something clean. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next one on 0 to 60 Motoring.